are currently standing in the Basilica of San Clemente. Welcome to this beautiful medieval church. From ground level, the basilica appears as normal as other churches. However, the two layers below us are windows into the history of this eternal city of Rome. The entire church is a prime example of how ages would continually build on top of each other in Rome, creating a system of layered ruins. The first layer, 2 floors below our feet at this moment, is an ancient Roman building from the 2nd century, housing a mithraeum. The layer above that, the one right below our feet, is an early Christian basilica built at the end of the 4th century, rebuilt in the 8th century, and decorated in the 11th century. Finally, the layer in which we are standing right now is a medieval church completed in the 12th century. During the 12th century, Rome went through a political revatio. This was partly prompted by the Norman sack and fire in 1084. As a result, Pope Paschal II wanted to restore and renew Rome. This consisted of a complete renewal of Constantine's early Christian Rome. San Clemente, along with 2 other churches, was singled out as representative of this Roman renewal. This basilica is in the typical style for an early Christian basilica, thanks to the 4th century predecessor below its floors.
Very little is known about St. Clement. Based on historical records, it is known that he was a disciple of St. Peter. It is believed that Clement was either the first or third successor of Peter as head of the church, but it is unclear as to which one. It is also believed that Clement was martyred for his faith during the reign of Trajan. He was put in prison and assigned to work in the marble quarries, where he converted several of his fellow prisoners. As a result, he was sentenced to death by drowning in the Black Sea with an anchor attached to his neck. His body was recovered by St. Cyril and St. Methodius, Slavic missionaries, who eventually transported his relics to Rome, where they were deposited in the Church of San Clemente. Now stand by the entrance from the atrium. Watch on as the circles of cosmotesque tiles lead the faithful down the center of the nave. The cosmotesque floor stones were mostly originally gravestones. In addition, the marble central scala cantorum in the middle of the nave was originally used in the lower, early Christian basilica. The term scala cantorum reflects the fact that Pope Urban II and Pope Paschal II both made choral chanting of the canonical hours in Rome's churches during the 11th and 12th centuries. The basilica was a major pilgrimage destination, as the church contained several relics. Above the line of lambs in the apse is an inscription that denotes 3 relics within the depiction of the body of Christ within the mosaic. These relics include a piece of the cross that Christ died on, as well as teeth of both St. James the Apostle and St. Ignatius. The mosaic cross is viewed not only as a representation of Christ, but also as a reliquary. The cross of the mosaic, containing the relic of the true cross, connects with the altar below, as Christ's sacrifice is reenacted during the Mass. The beautiful apse mosaic of the church is enough reason alone to visit the basilica. The mosaic shimmers in an ethereal fashion, separating the heavenly realm from the earth. The vine motif throughout the apse recalls mosaics from early Christian churches 2 centuries before, most notably the narthex mosaic from the Lateran baptistry. Overall, the apse contains 2 major themes. The first revolves around the creation and fall of man and the redemption, while the second discusses the church. In regard to the first theme, just above the inscription above the lambs are stags, birds, peacocks, and a lizard. Each of these creatures walks towards a river of 4 streams, referencing the 4 streams of the Garden of Eden in Genesis 2, 9-10. Above the animals, tendrils sprout from an acanthus. The lower tendrils spiral out and divide to form at least 50 circular compartments. These compartments frame flora and fauna alike, symbolizing the vast amount of life before the fall of man. This is a stark contrast from the 2 higher, withered tendrils that form ovals within the center of the apse mosaic, signifying the fall and sin of man. Within the ovals, Mary and John the Evangelist mourn the death of Christ, which redeemed the sin from the fall of Adam and Eve. Also within the acanthus sits a stag and serpent. The serpent represents Satan and the stag represents Christ. The stag is the serpent's natural enemy and triumphs over it, representing Christ's triumph over all evil and sin. In regard to the second theme, in reference to the church, the 12 doves within the cross represent the 12 apostles. The farm figures along the bottom represent the community of the faithful as they tend to their livestock. So too does the community tend to their faith. The men within the first tier of acanthus spirals are the 4 church fathers, Ambrose, Augustine, Jerome, and Gregory. The winged puttae, the small naked figures blowing on horns, and the birds above them help propel the faithful to the heavenly realms as souls soar upward. This contrasts from the earthbound chickens depicted below that need to be tended to by the farmers. Similarly, the faithful on earth still need tending to by the church. Above the crucifix is the hand of God breaking through the firmament, proffering a crown of victory to his Son on the cross. The entire mosaic combines figures and symbols to create a harmony with the Mass. Pilgrims are able to interact and contemplate the Mass on a more spiritual level while viewing the mosaics above them. Thank you for visiting this marvelous medieval basilica. I hope you have enjoyed your time listening and viewing the Upper Basilica of San Clemente. For further research, please reference the bibliography at the end of this video.